Hello, everyone, and welcome to our session today on how manufacturers can overcome digital challenges with integrated e-commerce. And joining us today is Giuseppe Ianni from Sana Commerce. And before I pass it over to Giuseppe, I would like to remind you that this session is being recorded and it will be posted to our on-demand webinar library later this week for you to review and share with anyone. And if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to type those into the questions box, and we will get those answered at the end of our presentation. And so now I'll pass it over to Giuseppe to kick off our presentation.
Excellent, thank you, and appreciate everybody's attendance on the call today or those who are watching this down the road. So as we kind of start, in the title I think implies here, organizations today are looking to obviously transform the way they do business on a day-to-day basis. And as we look at companies, no matter what the industry, I think people understand that it's critical to embrace this digital transformation in a seamless and scalable way for their organizations. But I think what most are challenged with when it comes to executing are the steps on how to get there, right? They have a lot of data challenges. They have heavy customer demand coming back down on top of a company that's ever growing and ever changing. And the systems that potentially are in place are not integrated, and they're critical systems that we need that will allow us to overcome and get to a point where we can better service our clients and differentiate our brand. And that's really what Sana focuses on as an organization, as a way to maximize your investment in an application like Microsoft Dynamics. Utilize e-commerce to better power your online operations, but also optimize your back office team from an efficiency standpoint, ensuring that you are set up for a way to scale and grow as a company into the future. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit today as we get into some of the specifics about the presentation, starting by talking a little bit about some of the trends impacting the manufacturing industry in particular, some of the biggest obstacles organizations today are seeing in that transformation, why integrated e-commerce with an application like Sana is the right fit for digital-first manufacturers. We'll talk a little bit about the application itself, and we'll talk about some of our customers and how they've found success in this transformation and what it's done for their business or organization. So as we start, I think we start with the trends and helps kind of set stage as we look at 2019 and where organizations are going. And one of the biggest changes we're starting to see is more and more manufacturers today are going direct to consumer. And in this way, they're gaining a competitive advantage by getting out there selling direct to consumer. And organizations, again, today, as we look at it, about 36% expect to go back and purchase a percentage, almost 20%, 1 to 20% of their purchases direct from a consumer. There's a lot of brand loyalty coming back. And when organizations have that set up or infrastructure in place, they can accommodate and hit this demand that's currently in place. So an interesting stat as we look at that, and I think as we note that organizations today, especially in the manufacturing space, right, are developing technologies like IoT, 3D printing, or AI that I think aren't new to many organizations, but are becoming more heavily adopted, right, and deeper implemented into organizations. Whereas we see here, 77% of organizations today across the industry either already use machine-to-machine or IoT as part of their e-commerce platform and plan to improve this into the future, which I think is important to understand. So those on the line, have we begun to work with the IoT or the M2M tooling, and is that a part of our website, or is that a part of our direct roadmap? And be aware that many, many other organizations are focusing on that here, and it will become something competitive for organizations to have structured and put in place. They note that 54% of B2B brands today think tasks like ordering spare parts completely end-to-end is a distinct possibility for the near future that organizations will be put in place. And here, as you see on the slide, another 67% think that it will impact their approach to sales strategies and customer service. So how do we organize or align our businesses to ensure that we're able to better service our customers in a more timely fashion? And how do we get there? Which is why you see a lot of organizations today fundamentally shifting how they operate in the manufacturing industry, right? And as we take a look at this, the key to leverage to get here is servitization, right? And what that means for manufacturers is really a chance in a way to differentiate yourself. You're no longer competing solely on price and delivery speed, but about the quality of your services and the customer experience. And that's what servitization is. Your web store, I think, is a key tool to be able to deliver a lot of these services out to your clients. And this is doubly true if your web store is tightly integrated to your ERP, meaning that your clients can go online for a one-stop shop inside of that portal to place their orders, have complete visibility of your availability or price or catalog, which will better empower your customers to view invoices, pay invoices, initiate orders, but also come in to initiate returns or chat, right on a portal. All things that, again, I think set an organization apart, but again, unify the way we're communicating with our customers, which again will help differentiate our brand from the next brand out there. We take a look at also other organizations like lean manufacturing and agile manufacturing organizations. A lot of waste still going out, but as we talk about commerce as a whole, being able to ensure that we don't have overproduction in place, we don't have defects in quality, we can get a quicker view of our catalog changes pushed out to our customers through a portal. We can utilize digital channels like a web store to push out new product iterations or frequent price changes to customers and ensure that that's transparent to our users. And I think the great part about a web store is it also lets your customers directly communicate their needs without having to go through a rep or an account manager, which allows those reps or account managers to add real value back to your customers versus doing tedious administrative type work, which is where e-commerce plays into a lot of these lean and agile manufacturing type organizations. So as we dig in a little bit more to some of the obstacles here that I think are limiting an organization for growing, as you look at what people are focused on today, selling more to consumers, adding revenue streams, modifying their business models to adapt to the times, I think whereas we see a lot of these things organizations are able to do and are looking to do in the future, I think there's challenges out here that threaten organizations, even though we see a lot of people focused on hitting these off their checklist, right? They see these on their short list of things they want to do in this organization. They know they're the right things to do, but what's holding them back more often than not is data challenges, right? Having multiple systems in place that aren't integrated, right? Siloed systems or siloed databases that slow them down, that need more time, more money, more bodies, and break apart the customer centricity that inevitably organizations need to get to really succeed long term, which will also allow an organization to improve their efficiency and agility of their day-to-day processes. So some of the more major roadblocks there, and as we look at some of those more critical roadblocks, we look at working within a single business system or a single source of the truth, people rating, how critical this is, but we can see a very serious or somewhat serious, for most people, even extremely gobbling up, about 70% of those users who were surveyed here. Same with getting the right data in a single system, right? Having an ERP like Microsoft Dynamics, we have the data and the truth there. Getting our systems to communicate back with that in a real-time manner is critical as we talk about getting online to better service our customers. Same with product information or data, right? How do we get as much of that data as we can out to our customers so they can make the informed buying decisions or get the educational content or product data that they need? So some real critical components that, again, people as they look to go to commerce don't take into account. How do we better streamline our organization and how do we better utilize the data back office and make sure it's there for us moving forward as well? Well, as we talk about data challenges here, I think the other key challenge is, why is that data so important? Well, as we look at our third annual digital transformation report that we published, we asked organizations how they use their data in their e-commerce platform. And this isn't all the answers we received, but to keep the data manageable, we narrowed the list down to answers given by more than a quarter of the respondents. And as you can see here, the data from the web store is largely not being used to support or manage the processes across the entire business. And I think this makes sense because what a web store provides isn't just a convenient way for you and your clients to do business. It's also a way to build an audit trail of your customers' needs and interests. The data from your web store is a gold mine for many different silos in your business. And when it comes to e-commerce or manufacturing, the way data is managed is essential. right? This is why we're such huge proponents of ERP integration here at Sana. But I think before we dive a little bit deeper into that, I want to take a look at why e-commerce, why any kind of e-commerce makes sense for manufacturers specifically. And I think this is where Sana really comes in. And as we look at the application, we've been built and structured to access back office data that will meet customer expectations, right? We understand the complex business logic and data that you've built out inside of your system. We limit the time to market by accessing data and structure that's already pre-built, and support that lean manufacturing type approach by taking a look at frequent price or availability or product changes in ERP and simply pulling it right out to the front end commerce environment. I'll note here that Forrester predicted that B2B commerce in the US will grow by 45% from 2015 to 2020 and reach $1.13 billion, right? That's twice the size of the retail market in the industry today. And I always tell people who wouldn't want to invest in a platform knowing that those are the circumstances will set their company up for future success, but also set their organization up to deliver easier maintenance, increased flexibility as you talk about your path forward, but also real-time data transparency out to your customers in a portal that allows 24/7 customer self-service to occur by accessing the same data that's available back office in your ERP. So I think that's where we really focus on helping organization by creating, cleaner digital channels to push out new product iterations, to get accurate information, even capture more complex orders inside of a portal that might have configurable product needs, and also to ensure that your clients can self-serve, taking off a lot of the back office manual task. We've been doing this for a long time. We've been doing this, and we have a portfolio of about 250 manufacturing organizations we've already deployed against. Some small, some very large. All organizations, though, either running Microsoft Dynamics or looking for a way to better improve their organization's path forward. So as we talk about that, most of those organizations we just saw weren't obviously doing this right to begin with, right? Doing it in a scalable approach. They had carts, they had portals, as we can kind of see here. They had Dynamics in place. They had purchased some type of connector or built some type of connector that synchronized data back and forth, or maybe only one way. They had an application or service provider hosting. They had a content management system. They were externally managing payment, tax, and freight, both in their cart and back in Dynamics. As this can become a very spiderweb type approach, especially for manufacturers or organizations who are consolidating or purchasing other businesses, when you get into multiple brands that you need to service through different portals, this can become a very complex and hard to manage environment for an organization. Sana looks to streamline that, and I always tell an organization, we take you from what you're doing today, which can clearly get you by, to what will actually put you in place for success well into the future. By taking a look at the data and information in your ERP, utilizing a native web service call from Microsoft, pushing it through the content management layer of Sana out to the front-end web store that you have full control over from a design standpoint, that Sana can manage the uptime and scalability of the website by providing hosting out in Azure, and giving you full design capability through the content management layer to create static pages, to modify the look and feel, and to manage not only one web store, whether it be a B2B web store or a traditional retail web store, but to also manage multiple different brands, multiple URLs or domains that your business might require today and into the future. And we do that through a single implementation and rollout of the e-commerce platform and structure. So all things I think that an organization puts in place that allows for seamless upgrades, whether it be utilizing the Sana SaaS technology that gives you future compatibility with any release of Dynamics, or just the latest and greatest of code from Sana on an ongoing basis, right? Most organizations sit static on website code for 4.5 to 5 years without upgrading, right? Sana has our clients upgrading, at this point, once a quarter. Into the future, we're talking once a month, once every couple of weeks, with bug fixes that are being applied into the web store, which means that you have a fully operational web store that's constantly evolving and delivering out a much more rich customer experience to your clients on an ongoing basis. So as I say that, I always kind of share with people, yeah, there's a lot of ways to do this. There's a lot of ways to operate as a business. If you're fine with it operating good, keep going about your day-to-day. If you're looking for a way to do much better, that's where Sana comes in. And I think that's what this video talks a little bit about that I'll cut over to here for just a second. And as we kind of play through this, I apologize, it doesn't sound like the audio is coming through right now. For those that might be on the line hearing this, we will be able to provide this as a follow-up to organizations. But as we take a look at the structure here, what we're noting here is that interfacing an application, utilizing any type of shopping cart out there, bolting it onto the current structure, replicating data and synchronizing data from the web store back to Dynamics can be a taxing process, right? A taxing process that can be rather complex and take a lot of time, right? And it adds a lot of elements to your organization, but it doesn't ever unlock the full potential of your business. So with the Sana structure, we operate and are installed inside of your ERP, leveraging the data you already have and put in place. We're able to utilize the foundation for the website, which ensures that we offer, again, that optimal client experience moving forward with this online portal or application that we put in place here at Sana. Now, I talked a little bit about Sana and the SaaS application. This was inevitably built out, and one of the big reasons behind this was we have, obviously, and we've approached a couple thousand clients here at Sana running Microsoft Dynamics. We recognize that the cadence and release of Microsoft Dynamics is also drastically streamlined, right? People are upgrading ERP more frequently, and one of the most taxing things on an organization is going through an e-commerce upgrade, right? It can take a lot of time, it can cost a lot of money. We then have to work with your partner to align to make sure that the web store is on a new code and ready to go for that release as well, and yet another point of coordination. So we delivered out a SaaS application now that ensures that our application and platform is always ready for whatever release of the ERP that you're going to move over to. But on an ongoing basis, now we've opened up our own app store that ensures that new code, content, and technology we can dump out here as an app, ensuring that our customers on the latest code can come out here and say, hey, I want that app, I want that feature and function, not request it from Sana, simply log into their portal that they're already running and download that app, and then configure it and turn it on. So a much more seamless way to move forward, getting out more technology, more code, and more logic in a faster manner. And again, that was one of our key focus to moving organizations to a SaaS type e-commerce platform, is that you're always on the latest and greatest version, regardless of where you're at ERP-wise. And I want to stress that because it's important for organizations. They can choose to sit on an ERP release for an extended period of time. They can choose to be very cutting edge and move up to the latest and greatest. We're always going to support our customers without having to go through a bulky upgrade process with a SaaS tool in place. But it also ensures that we can deliver out bug fixes, improvements, GDPR compliance code can always be tucked in on an ongoing basis by us for you, ensuring that your website is as secure as possible. We also open it up to be more configurable or extensible as needed, ensuring that, hey, if there's something you want to develop or you wanted to build, we have extension points for you to code out and build, while as you don't want to end up with one custom big blob platform that is bulky to upgrade, but we use extension points to make sure it upgrades smooth and seamlessly. We've been doing all this for organizations for many years and operate under a fixed bid implementation. Our organizations who work with us know exactly what it's going to take to deploy, to implement, to host, and have it supported into the future. All comes in with our SaaS subscription to the platform and application. And as we look at that implementation, we also look at that platform being heavily customized by some organizations, needing to work through extension points similar to what Microsoft's doing with their future alignment, ensuring that any custom add-ons or standardized add-ons can be bolted onto the front or back end, or be called or accessed from back office ERP based on what you might have built back office in the ERP as well. So while I talk about that, you know, I want to talk about another organization or a few organizations here that Sana's worked with in the past that have come to us with some of those manufacturing challenges, right? And as we take a look at ZoomX here, they're obviously a leader in food equipment, service equipment. I think one of the largest challenges here was they sell these large industrial machines to many organizations. You know, one of their biggest customers here is cruise cruise ships, right? They'll buy a large industrial machine. They'll be burning through this every day for breakfast and lunch with people getting juice. And obviously, frequent products are, machine parts are breaking. They need service, whatever that might be. So they needed to put in place a way for them to better service their customers as opposed to their clients calling in from a cruise ship when they port to say, hey, this part's broken, I need a new part, right? They had too much downtime. What they were able to do is put in place a web portal that allowed a cruise ship to log in with unique credentials, access the relevant machines that they had purchased or owned, serialize or look up those parts, see what parts might be warranted, what weren't, be able to order those parts. And inside of that, we then took it a step further and really optimized the experience by putting out CAD drawings, right? Exploded views of components or areas or pieces of the machine. So I could come back and take a look at those components or pieces in the machine to find the exact part that I needed within those drawings, which ensured that the customer was purchasing the right product or part. They knew what machine they were purchasing it for. And again, it provided a more true single source of truth for their organizations and optimized the turnaround time from the minute it was ordered to the minute it could be delivered, right? If I was doing this while I was at sea, I could have it ready sitting there at port for me to pick up so I could turn around and not have a down machine for the next 7 days that cruise was at sea. So a big way that this organization here was to transform the way that they did business and better service their customers, again, who were, in need of a way to quickly manage and reorder. And again, this was also rolled out at a global level, so ensuring that multi-language and multi-currency, as we can see here, was also supported. Again, they're a Microsoft Dynamics client, and again, transformed the way that they were able to operate on a day-to-day basis with their customers by reducing the need to have to call in and talk with customer service or a sales representative on a day-to-day basis, and they do this now all online. So with that, what I wanted to do was kind of transition here for a moment and take a look at the actual application. One of the things that I always encourage people to do is while, yeah, I've shown some websites and we can walk through those, our application as it's natively deployed is always deployed in 3 flavors, right? One is the retail flavor, which I know most of us are more familiar with, right? We can come out to a website, we can drill through that website to find educational content, information, product data. We can scroll through to browse product categories, product hierarchies to get more information. We can go through a traditional product hierarchy. What Sana does in our application is actually pull a lot of this data and information directly from your ERP, right? Most organizations, they build a SKU, they set up attributes, they set up kits, and they set up a price, and they set up a bit of availability. So as we see here, not only has the hierarchy and attributing been pulled from the ERP, my price has been pulled from the ERP. In this case, this product's a kit. The kit components have been pulled from the ERP. Again, so even the most complex kitting that you're building, we can expose and push right back out to your clients. We can see that complex pricing, in this case, in a retail environment, showing out a retail published price, supporting product data, upsell, cross-sell. Even product attachments or specs can all be put natively inside of your ERP table structure. The Sana platform overall also supports the ability to manage supplemental product information in our PIM. So you can come out and enrich product data through the Sana admin panel. And again, if I want to manage multiple images from a web browser UI, I can upload those images or right to the web browser, right? I can import some of that data. I can manage my hierarchy or navigation out through the portal too. So offering out the flexibility to manage that data back in the ERP as needed, or again, supplementally manage it out inside of a browser UI. So as we talk a little bit about retail, customers come out to a portal, they obviously add products to a cart in this direct-to-consumer type model. I can move through that checkout process, capturing the relevant information to build the customer and write that customer along with the order back to the ERP at checkout, ensuring that we're able to pick, pack, ship, and fulfill as quickly as possible. We handle payment processing. We look at the sales tax or tax schedules back from your ERP or maybe a third-party vendor through an API call to ensure that they are tax exempt. We can also pick that up. We manage freight by then looking at the weight or dim weights back from the ERP, calling out to the carriers of choice that you've configured through the admin panel again. So we know exactly who we want turned on. We can even personalize it based on the user. So if we want certain users getting certain options, we could do that. whether it's geographically based or customer class based. So as we look at this here and talk about that checkout process, we also then take Sana out to yet another type of experience. Whereas we started here direct to consumer here, we can see the consumer price point published. I'm going to log in right now as a B2B user, right? A known user back in the Dynamics database, set up with a price level, set up with payment terms. And upon logging into that environment here now, you can see that it changes the price, right? It opens up availability. Sana gives you the control inside of our admin panel here to not only manage the customer experience, but to treat customers differently, right? You can configure how consumers are treated versus how wholesalers are treated, right? What that browse experience looks like. Also, how that checkout experience flows through. So, hey, on the retail site, do I want organizations to check out as a guest or require them to create an account? You know, on the wholesale side, do I want to capture a purchase order number or a delivery date? You know, and write that back through to Dynamics as well. You know, all things that can be configured as either required or optional, as you can see here. So the structure of Sana here, as I've set it up, this platform and portal today is operating as what we would call a B2X environment. It supports both B2B and B2C buying within a single domain or URL. Other organizations will operate separately, right, under a distinct URL or domain for each of the websites, locking out a customer from coming in and actually browsing the website prior to login. They see nothing, just more of a welcome page, which is something many organizations prefer to deploy out and something that we support with any application. So as we talk about a portal, and we mentioned earlier, while capturing an order in grabbing a product and getting it to the cart, whether it's custom configured or not, is a piece, it by no means is where a portal stops. It's really just the beginning. We also take a look out here at the ability to look at document history, you know, any quotes, any orders, any invoices, the ability to convert a quote to an order, the ability to pay an invoice, applying that payment right back to the Dynamics database in a real-time manner. So all you have to do back office is post. Also, more automation coming in, again, reducing the volume of phone calls your company takes in. Again, allowing your back office organization to focus on other revenue generating activities versus these manual day-to-day process things that people are used to already doing inside of a portal. Same with the returns aspect, right? Well, somebody very easily can call in and deal with an organization or administrator back office. They can also just as easily come online, look up an invoice, find the product they want to return, pulling out the appropriate reason codes back from Dynamics, and starting that return process online, notifying your back office team, creating that document back office in Microsoft Dynamics. So we have that document number from Dynamics shown to the client, and our back office team is now notified with an email, with a document being created back in Nav, or whatever it might be, with an image, with instructions on why they want to return it. You know, hey, maybe the product showed up damaged in shipment. I can send it to them as well, so you at back office can make a decision on how you want to interact with that customer moving forward, whether it's an email, a phone call, sending them a, you know, issuing a credit, or just putting a new one in the mail. A lot more automation comes into play with the portal, as well as artificial intelligence. We had talked about the M2M and the IoT. Organizations now, as they're coming out here to do repeat orders, can quickly come inside of a portal, click a suggested order type button, which will query the order history or document history back in the Dynamics database and suggest a cart, right? This client doesn't have much document history here or order history, but if I did, I could have dozens of orders out here or items that should be ordered out here presented to that client in a single page, right? Making it easy and convenient for an organization to quickly place that order. Again, whereas I can also just quickly move through that purchasing process, looking at my historical bill to and ship to data, multiple locations that might exist, entering a new address as needed, grabbing freight, grabbing tax, and then again, finishing out this order with maybe a purchase order number, some delivery instructions, and a requested delivery date. Also, this order can be seamlessly written back to Dynamics at this point. With that order number immediately being created, back office now, we can quickly pick, pack, and ship this as quickly as possible, optimizing the time from order to shipment. All of what we've shown here today is packaged in the native Sana application. It works natively back with the ERP table structure. It loads and is launched with any document history you have in Dynamics as well. It doesn't start fresh with only web data. This is a reflection of any data, again, that one source of truth that you maintain inside of your ERP or have. So whether it's an EDI order, a phoned in order, or a historical transaction, day one, it's here on top of any transactions that come through the web that will also be visible out here too. Now, as we talk about full-blown commerce, I also want to highlight here what we've seen as another growing trend in the manufacturing space in particular. Many organizations aren't ready for the step to commerce, right? Some are, some aren't. Some want to take baby steps, right? What we've seen as another more common ask or request is just a portal, right? All I want is a portal. I'm not ready to go out to the general public. I'm not even ready to sell. What I want is I want a portal for our customers to log into. And as we can see here, they could come out to a secure portal. They could log in, and upon logging in, they have the potential to do a few things: look at their document history, look at their quote history, or look at their invoice history. In which case, they could make a payment out here. This application, as you can see, it doesn't have any shopping cart functionality turned on. It's just been restricted and turned off. So another option to deploying out what we call a heavy customer portal or customer service experience inside of a portal that accesses real-time Dynamics data, but empowers your customers to self-serve online. What's great about this is if in the future you decide to go full-blown commerce, you want to start selling products, or maybe you just want to start putting out a catalog to your customers, right? You actually don't want buying to occur. All you want is a nice, clean, rich B2C type experience that your customers can come out to educate themselves on your brand, what you sell, how it's built, how it's made. But you don't sell anything to the general public, which you can see here. So another, again, traditional manufacturers of bed frames came to Sana as, looking for a B2B portal, but wanted to put out a front end environment that the whole world would see to better educate and expose themselves out. What they ended up getting was more and more distributors coming to them, finding them, and signing up to become distributors. And as obviously a consumer, I can figure out where I can pick these products up and purchase them from right from the corporate front end. Though if I come into a distinct URL and domain as a wholesaler, I can then handle ordering through Sana as well. So we see e-commerce being deployed out in various different ways for organizations. Some more traditional, some a little bit more unique based on the brand, based on the evolution of the business and where the business might be today. And I always like to kind of point that out to people. A web store platform should be something that you deploy out that you can grow into and evolve as a business. Otherwise, as a business, you start picking apart pieces, and like the graphic showed earlier, you end up with multiple silos, multiple systems that don't talk or cost you a lot of time and money to get communicating, and that often can break, or you need to rebuild integration upon each upgrade, which can be very costly and time consuming to an organization just from an effort standpoint, not only the financial standpoint. But more importantly, it doesn't offer your clients that clean experience that we're looking to get to. So a little bit about the evolution and what people are seeing in the marketplace today, a little bit about what Sana's done for organizations. I would encourage you, if there's additional comments or questions, that you come back to us and ask questions or comments, or reach out to your partner and schedule some time. But as key takeaways, right, I think, the environment, the economy, it's not slowing down, right? The transformation organizations today are making, as we look at ERP becoming more affordable and more packaged for businesses, more competitors are popping up every day, right? We see that in the businesses that are upgrading their e-commerce systems or putting in commerce systems aren't doing it because they want to, they're doing it because they have to, right? And those that have it aren't upgrading because they have to, they're doing it because they want to. So critical things I think to understand as we talk about the evolution of commerce and where businesses are going, whether it is, whatever ERP that you're sitting on. Sana has integrations to a variety of different ERPs. And I think what we focus on here is trying to put businesses in the most optimal scenario possible. And we look forward to joining you guys as well, who might be on this call today in Wisconsin a little bit later in April. We will be participating in the Innovia customer conference as well. I do appreciate everybody's time. If there's any questions, I know we're going to open it up at this point. We'd be happy to address. But again, appreciate your time and attendance today and the presentation. Hope it was insightful.
Thank you, Giuseppe. Yes, we do have a few questions. And the first one is, how can Sana prevent or help with inventory blocking?
Inventory blocking. So what we can do, and I'm not exactly 100% sure on the question here. One of my assumptions would be inventory blocking. You got a customer that buys, SKUs 1 to 100. You got another customer who buys SKUs 200 to 300. We have, when we deploy into the ERP, we have a function called customer segmentation. What that would allow us to do is break apart your product catalogs or products or items back inside of the ERP, and then publish a unique set of items to a customer or a customer class or a customer group. So upon logging into the portal, if I was that customer, I would only have access to purchase certain products. I could also, in this case, block, other customers from purchasing certain items. In this case, my West Coast customers can't get these products because they can't be shipped. But my more remote customers can purchase these products and they can be, sent on a truck. So hopefully that answers the question.
Okay, thank you. And we have an internal process for order approvals with several user roles. Can you accommodate the many roles we have before pushing an order through?
We can. So, as we look at what the website is doing, we have, again, customer segmentation, which can control the user rights. We can also follow user rights configured back inside of Dynamics and honor those rights inside of the portal. Our goal, again, as an organization is to get the right products into the cart, take the order back to the ERP, right? So if it's Nav or whatever ERP you guys are running, from there, at that point, you're taking it over, whether the order comes in on hold, whether it then flows into an approval process, that can happen. We can also stop it so it sits out online as either a quote or a draft or whatever it might be, and take multiple steps in the approval, either at the customer level or at the customer and then at the organization level if it needs to. So the short answer to that is yes, we just need some definition behind what that would be in order to get all that put in place. But also a pretty common occurrence inside of a portal.
Okay, thank you. And then is there quote to order functionalities with your solution?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the baseline features to the application or the platform. I think I kind of highlighted it just a little bit earlier as we saw products or information sitting inside of the cart. I'll add a product in here really quick, and as I move through the cart process, all you have to do is turn on the quote functionality, and you can see here, get quote. You would move through the system and place that quote. Whether this was a customer placing a quote on their behalf, that quote could then go off back office to the sales rep. And here you can see here that quote generated back from Dynamics in the quote order number. There is a button here that can also be turned on based again on user rights that would allow the customer to actually convert his quote to an order himself. Though right now this quote would be back inside of Dynamics. You could log into Dynamics and convert it there. Alternatively, as we look at the UI of what Sana's built out, we also accommodate sales reps interacting with the portal. So in this case, the sales rep could have got that email from a quote coming in from the client. The sales rep could log into the browser. He could look up the customer who just placed that quote. And once he selected that customer, he could come into their document history and he could come into their quotes. And right here, you're seeing that quote that I literally just placed a moment ago as the customer. That rep could open that quote and I could convert that quote to a sales order myself as a sales rep. And now we can see that as a sales order back inside of Dynamics. Again, it could have additional flow going through, but yeah, the short answer is quote to order is fully supported in the native rollout of the Sana platform, whether it's customer to rep, whether it's rep to customer, or whether it's, however that might occur back and forth. It could even be from the ERP side. All of it's natively supported in the application. Also following any rules as well. So you can see here, we're following the rules back in the Dynamics database for expiration of quotes.
All right, well, thank you very much. Appears that those are all the questions that we have for today. Please feel free to contact us or the team at Sana with any additional questions you may have. And thank you, Giuseppe, for presenting, and to everyone on today's call, or if you are watching on demand, thank you for joining us. And we do have a few more webinars coming soon. Next Tuesday, February 26th, we have Holly Kudel from Innovia Consulting presenting on role centers. And we will also have Jeff Pogolski from Innovia Consulting presenting on Microsoft Flow, What's New? And that webinar is on Wednesday, February 27th. So if you're interested in either of those webinars or future webinars, please visit our website to register for those. And we do have Focus coming up in March in Houston, Texas. Focus is a 2-day deep dive training event to help you get a deeper understanding of your Microsoft Dynamics Nav, Power BI, and Business Central systems. And to learn more about Focus and to get all the details for this conference, you can visit our conference page on our website, and that's innovia.com/conferences. So if you're interested, please feel free to register. And then Innovia Consulting is having our annual customer conference coming up in April on the 24th and 25th in the Wisconsin Dells. And as Giuseppe mentioned, Sana Commerce is one of our sponsors, so you'll be able to meet them and talk with them to discuss any questions that you may have. This event is free to attend for all of our current and prospective customers. Contact your rep or visit our conference page, innovia.com/conferences, where it will have all the details for our conference. We would love to have you attend. Register now. Hotels are going fast. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you to Giuseppe for presenting today, and we look forward to seeing you again soon on another Innovia webinar. Have a great day, everyone.